Cold feet. All right, safety and equipment. Equipment is important on especially Washington rivers because they're all glacier fed, cold water coming right off of the glaciers. So the bad thing about the first raft trips I did with my dad, and even the first raft that I bought, first two rafts I bought, were that they were called uh, bucket boats. A bucket boat is something that has a floor, and when the water splashes over the side, it builds up in the raft, and it doesn't go away because it's just a flat floor and it just catches the water. So you bring a whole 5 gallon bucket, and somebody is throwing water out after a big rapid to get the water out so you can control. Because if you get hundreds of gallons of water into a raft, you can't control it. You can't. You want to go this way, and it just goes wherever way it wants to go. It's too heavy. So they're called bucket boats. We bucket the water out. Well, the bad thing about a bucket boat is there was always water at the bottom of the boat. Your feet are on the bottom of the boat, maybe stepped underneath a thwart somewhere, or, in time, maybe underneath a strap or a hold, a foothold in time. I found out what those were. But your feet were always submerged in water. And our first wetsuits were scuba diving wetsuits. And unfortunately, most of them were tight. Now, scuba diving wetsuits need to be tight, but not when they restrict the flow of blood to your feet. So if you're in ice cold water, glacier water, you're in insufficient or the wrong size booties, your feet freeze. I have took the boots off of my feet coming out of rivers, and they're completely white. I mean, it takes me an hour before the prickles and the pinpricks start hitting my feet. I mean, it is just that cold. That's too cold. So it's important that when you're doing Washington rivers or Northwest rivers, pretty much all of them are the same, especially as you go north. Canada, I mean, I've rafted Canada and Idaho, and would love to go to Alaska, Lone Wolf, Part 3. Anyway, so you need to buy booties that fit. They need to be, if anything, a little loose, not super tight. You don't want to wear cotton underneath wetsuits unless that's all you have. It's important that on booties, I usually wear nothing, just bare feet in my booties. I've got 7 millimeter thick booties. They're actually, again, not just whitewater booties. I still sometimes buy wetsuit equipment to go on the river because I hate to be cold. I won't be cold as much as possible. And cold feet is one of the worst things you can have on the river. All right, so the moral of the story. When you go rafting, you need the right equipment. And this one is about booties. Make sure they're the right size, the right thickness. And if you're doing an Eastern Washington trip, it's 90 degrees outside. The water isn't coming right off a glacier. The water level, and sometimes you can test the water level to see how warm and you can every time. And if it's a water level that doesn't bother you, I've gone in Tevas, snap-on Tevas, because, you don't want Velcro. Velcro is just going to wash off if you get in the river. You get snap-on Tevas, and I've river rafted lots of them with just no socks, just Tevas, no protection at all. But always, the moral of this whole story is make sure your feet are warm. If it needs to be warm, then get the better equipment. Safety first, crazy second.